The phone buzzes at 3:17 a.m., and I know before I even look at it that my marriage is over. Busy now, I'll call after. That's it. No explanation, no apology for the fact that she's been gone since yesterday morning, claiming she had a client emergency that would keep her out all night. Lexi always was terrible at lying, but apparently she's gotten bold enough to stop trying. I'm Derek Malone, 42 years old, and I've spent the last 15 years thinking I knew my wife. I'm a logistics manager for a shipping company, not glamorous, but steady work that pays well enough to afford our downtown apartment with its floor-to-ceiling windows and granite countertops. The kind of place Lexi insisted we needed to maintain our image in the city. I pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon and stare at that text message. The cursor blinks in the reply field, waiting for me to respond like the good, understanding husband I've always been, the guy who never questioned her late nights, her sudden interest in yoga classes that somehow never made her more flexible, her new wardrobe of clothes that cost more than my monthly salary. Instead, I type, "Don't bother. Stay with him. My line is closed to you." Send. The satisfaction lasts exactly 30 seconds before my phone starts ringing. I let it go to voicemail, then it rings again, and again. I turn the phone face down and take another sip of bourbon, savoring the burn. Through our expensive windows, the city spreads out below like a circuit board, all glittering lights and dark spaces between. Somewhere out there, my wife is panicking. Good. The apartment feels different now, like I'm seeing it clearly for the first time. All of Lexi's touches, the abstract art that looks like someone spilled paint on canvas, the throw pillows that cost $200 each, the coffee table books about places we've never been, suddenly look like what they are. The decorations of someone who cares more about appearances than substance. My phone buzzes with a text. "Derek, please, we need to talk." Then another. "I'm coming home." And finally, "This isn't what you think." I laugh out loud, the sound echoing off our high ceilings. It's exactly what I think, and we both know it. 20 minutes later, I hear her key in the lock. She's trying to be quiet, probably hoping I've gone back to sleep so she can slip into bed and pretend this never happened. The door opens with a soft whisper of expensive hinges, and I hear her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. "Derek?" Her voice is small, uncertain. "Are you awake?" I don't answer. I'm sitting in my leather chair, the one piece of furniture in this place that I actually chose, with my bourbon and my thoughts. The lights are off except for the city glow coming through the windows, so I'm just a silhouette in the darkness. Before we deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. She appears in the doorway to the living room, still wearing the black dress she claimed was for a client dinner. It's wrinkled now, and her lipstick is gone. Her blonde hair, usually perfect, looks like she's been running her hands through it. "Derek, I can explain." "Can you?" I take another sip of bourbon. Because that would be impressive. I've been trying to explain it to myself for the last hour, and I keep coming up empty. She steps into the room, her heels loud on the floor. "It's not what you think." "You said that already, in your text." I hold up my phone. "Right after, 'This isn't what you think.' You're repeating yourself, Lex. Usually means you're nervous." Even in the dim light, I can see her face flush. Lexi's always been easy to read when she's caught off guard. It's one of the things that made her a terrible poker player and apparently a worse cheater. "I was with a client. It ran late, and stop." I set down my glass and leaned forward. "Just stop. We both know where you were and who you were with. The only question is whether you're going to keep lying about it." She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. For someone who makes her living in public relations, spinning stories for corporate clients, she's remarkably bad at spinning one for herself. "How long?" I ask. "Derek, how long, Lexi?" She sinks onto the edge of our white leather couch, the one that costs more than most people's cars. 3 months. 3 months. I do the math in my head, thinking back to when she started staying late at the office more often, when she began going to those yoga classes, when she suddenly decided she needed a new wardrobe because her old clothes were too conservative. "Ethan Brand," I say, and watch her flinch. The venture capitalist. The one who's been all over the society pages lately talking about disrupting traditional business models. She doesn't deny it. Doesn't even try. "He's exciting," she says finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "He makes me feel alive again." "And I make you feel what? Bored? Trapped?" "Derek, please. You have to understand." "I understand perfectly." I stand up, and she shrinks back into the couch. "I understand that you've been lying to me for 3 months. I understand that you've been sneaking around with some flashy rich boy who probably sees you as just another conquest. I understand that my wife thinks I'm too boring to bother with anymore. Tears start running down her cheeks, but I'm not moved. Lexi's always been good at crying on command, another tool in her public relations toolkit. It just happened, she says. We met at that charity gala in September, and he was so charming, so different from me. I didn't mean it like that. Sure you did. I walk to the window, looking out at the city. Different from the boring logistics guy who pays for this apartment and your car and your $200 throw pillows. Different from the husband who never questioned where you were going or why you needed so many new clothes. Different from the guy who was stupid enough to trust you. Derek, please. We can work through this. I turn back to her. Can we? Because I'm curious. What did you think would happen when I found out? And don't pretend you weren't going to get caught eventually. You're not nearly as clever as you think you are. She's sobbing now, mascara running down her cheeks in black streams. I thought maybe you wouldn't find out. Or that maybe by the time you did, I'd know what I wanted. And what do you want, Lex? She looks up at me, and for a moment I see the woman I married 15 years ago. Young, ambitious, full of dreams about the life we'd built together. Then the moment passes, and I see what she's become. Someone who thinks she deserves more than what she has, more than what I can give her. I don't know, she whispers. Well, that's honest, at least. I finish my bourbon and set the glass down. But I know what I want. I want you out of here. Derek, tonight. Pack whatever you need for a few days. You can figure out the rest later. She stands up, wobbling slightly on her heels. Where am I supposed to go? I'm sure Ethan has room. After all, you've been staying with him anyway. The words hit her like a slap. She straightens up, and I see a flash of the old Lexi, the one who never backed down from a fight. Fine, she says. Maybe I will. Good. I'll help you pack. But she's already walking toward the bedroom, her heels clicking angrily on the floor. I hear drawers opening and closing, hangers rattling in the closet. Part of me wants to follow her, to keep fighting, to demand more answers. But I stay in the living room, pouring myself another bourbon and watching the city lights blur together. 15 minutes later, she's back with a suitcase and her makeup bag. She looks smaller somehow, diminished. This doesn't have to be the end, she says. Yeah, it does. She stands there for a moment longer, maybe waiting for me to change my mind, to beg her to stay, to promise we can work it out. But I'm done begging, done making promises I can't keep. I'll call you tomorrow, she says. Don't bother. My line is closed to you. She flinches at the echo of my earlier text, then turns and walks to the door. I hear it close behind her with a soft click, and then I'm alone in our expensive apartment with my bourbon and my anger. I should feel devastated. I should be curled up on the floor, crying into the $200 throw pillows. Instead, I feel something I haven't felt in months. Clarity. My wife is a cheater and a liar. Her boyfriend is an arrogant rich boy who thinks he can take whatever he wants. And me? I'm the boring husband who's supposed to quietly accept this humiliation and move on with my life. But they don't know me as well as they think they do. They don't know about the 15 years I spent in the Army before I became a logistics manager. They don't know about the things I learned about planning, patience, and precision. They don't know that boring doesn't mean harmless. I pull out my phone and scroll through Lexi's contacts until I find what I'm looking for. Simone Walsh, her best friend and fellow public relations consultant. The woman who's been covering for Lexi's affair, making excuses, and providing alibis. I start typing. Simone, this is Derek. I thought you should know that Lexi is having an affair with Ethan Brand. She's been using you as her cover story. I'm sure you had no idea, but I thought you deserved to know the truth about what your best friend thinks of your friendship. Send. Then I pour myself another bourbon and settle back into my chair to wait. It's 4:30 a.m., but I'm not tired. I'm energized, focused in a way I haven't been in years. My phone buzzes 5 minutes later. It's Simone. Derek, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. This is terrible. I smile in the darkness. Simone knew exactly what was going on. I could tell from the way she acted around me at parties, the nervous laughter when Lexi mentioned her yoga classes. But now she's panicking, trying to cover her own tracks. Another text from Simone. Have you talked to Lexi about this? I type back. She's staying with him tonight. Guess she made her choice. My phone starts ringing immediately. Simone, probably calling to do damage control. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to her stammering message about how shocked she is, how she wants to help, how she's sure this is all a misunderstanding. I delete the message and turn off my phone. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. The next morning, I wake up on the couch with a mild headache and a clear sense of purpose. My phone has 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. I ignore them all and make coffee instead. The apartment feels bigger without Lexi's presence, like I can finally breathe properly. I stand at the kitchen counter, sipping my coffee and watching the morning traffic crawl through the streets below. Somewhere out there, Lexi is probably waking up in Ethan Brand's bed, wondering if I've cooled down overnight. She's about to find out I haven't. I shower, shave, and put on my best suit, the navy blue one Lexi bought me for her company's Christmas party last year. Ironic, considering it might be the last gift she ever gives me. Then I drive across town to Murphy's Tavern, a dive bar that doesn't look like much from the outside but serves the best breakfast in the city. Cal Murphy is behind the bar, same as he has been every morning for the past 10 years. He's an ex-cop who bought this place after he retired, and he's become something close to a friend over the years. More importantly, he's someone who understands that sometimes the system fails and you have to take matters into your own hands. "You look like hell," he says when I slide onto a bar stool. "Feel worse. Coffee and eggs, over easy." He pours me a mug of coffee that could strip paint. What happened? I tell him the whole story while he cooks my breakfast. Cal doesn't interrupt, doesn't offer sympathy or advice. He just listens, the way good bartenders do. "So, what's your play?" he asks when I finish. "I'm going to destroy them." "Both of them?" "All of them. Lexi, Ethan, and everyone who helped them humiliate me." Cal slides my plate across the bar. "You sure about this? Once you start down that road, there's no going back." "I'm sure." He nods slowly. "What do you need?" This is why I like Cal. He doesn't waste time asking if I'm certain or trying to talk me out of it. He understands that some betrayals can't be forgiven or forgotten. "Information," I say. "About Ethan Brand. Everything you can find. I still have contacts at the department. Give me a few hours." I eat my breakfast in silence, planning my next moves. Lexi thinks she knows me, thinks she can predict how I'll react. She expects me to be angry but ultimately reasonable. The same boring husband who's never caused trouble or made waves. She's counting on me to quietly accept the divorce, split our assets, and fade into the background of her exciting new life. She's wrong. After breakfast, I drive to my office. I work for Coastal Shipping, a mid-sized company that handles freight logistics for businesses up and down the East Coast. It's not glamorous work, but it's taught me valuable lessons about timing, coordination, and the importance of controlling information flow. My assistant, Janet, looks up when I walk in. She's in her 50s, has worked here longer than I have, and doesn't miss much. "You okay, Derek? You look tired." "Long night. Any messages?" "Your wife called 3 times, said it was urgent." "If she calls again, tell her I'm in meetings all day." Janet raises an eyebrow but doesn't ask questions. She's been married for 30 years. She probably has her own theories about what's going on. I close my office door and boot up my computer. First order of business, research. I spend the next 2 hours learning everything I can about Ethan Brand from public sources. Social media profiles, business articles, society, page photos. The picture that emerges isn't flattering. Ethan Brand is 34 years old, graduated from an Ivy League business school, and inherited his venture capital firm from his father. He's never actually built anything himself, just invested other people's money in trendy startups, most of which fail within 2 years. He drives a Tesla, lives in a penthouse downtown, and has been photographed at charity galas with a different woman on his arm every few months. In other words, he's exactly the kind of man who would see my wife as a trophy and a challenge. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "This is Ethan. We should talk." I stare at the message for a moment, then type back, "No, we shouldn't." He responds immediately. "I think there's been a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding is that you thought I wouldn't find out. Look, this doesn't have to get ugly. We're all adults here." I almost laugh. He actually thinks he can smooth this over, like it's just a business deal gone wrong. "You're right," I type. "We are all adults. Which means you should have thought about the consequences before you started sleeping with my wife." This time, he doesn't respond right away. When he finally does, the tone has changed. "What do you want?" "Nothing you can give me?" "Everyone wants something, Derek. Name your price." Now I do laugh, loud enough that Janet probably hears me through the door. He thinks this is about money, that he can buy his way out of the mess he's made. "You can't afford what this is going to cost you," I type, then block his number. At lunch, I drive back to Murphy's. Cal is waiting for me with a manila folder. "Your boy Ethan has been busy," he says, sliding the folder across the bar. 3 complaints filed with the Better Business Bureau in the past year. 2 lawsuits from investors who claim he misrepresented the risks of certain deals, and get this, he's been evicted from 2 apartments in the past 5 years for non-payment of rent. I flipped through the documents. He drives a $100,000 car, leased, and he's 3 months behind on the payments. So he's broke. Broke but flashy, the worst kind. Cal pours himself a coffee. There's more. He's got a reputation for going after married women. Apparently he thinks it's a game. My hands tighten on the folder. What kind of game? See how long he can keep them interested before their husbands find out. Then he moves on to the next one. I close the folder and look at Cal. How many others? At least 4 that my guy could confirm. All married, all ended the same way. Husband finds out, wife gets dumped, Ethan disappears until the heat dies down. The coffee tastes bitter in my mouth. Lexi thinks she's special, thinks she's found her soulmate. She has no idea she's just the latest in a long line of conquests. There's something else, Cal says. He's got a wife. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. What? Married 6 years. She lives in their house in the suburbs while he plays bachelor in his downtown penthouse. Apparently, she doesn't know about his extracurricular activities. I stare at him. Lexi doesn't know he's married. Doesn't seem like it. My contact says he never wears a ring, never mentions a wife. As far as his girlfriends know, he's single and available. This changes everything. Lexi isn't just the other woman. She's the other woman who doesn't know she's the other woman. And Ethan's wife is in the same position I was in yesterday, living a lie without knowing it. What's her name? Amanda Brand. She's a teacher at a private school in Westfield. By all accounts, she's a nice woman who has no idea what her husband really is. I take the folder and stand up. Thanks, Cal. I owe you. Just be careful, Derek. This guy sounds like he's got connections. So do I. Her voice wavered slightly on the last word, and I could tell she was trying to convince herself as much as me. The denial was still there, thin, fragile, but clinging on like frost that hadn't quite melted. Amanda, I said gently, he's not using that apartment for business. He's using it for women. One woman, in particular, my wife. She blinked twice, then let out a shaky laugh that didn't sound remotely amused. That's ridiculous. There must be some mistake. I took out my phone, scrolled to the photos Cal's guy had captured, and slid it across the table. Ethan and Lexi, my wife, caught in that perfect golden light spilling from the apartment window. Her hand on his chest, his lips near her ear, the kind of intimacy that needed no caption. Amanda's breath hitched. She stared at the screen for several seconds, her face tightening with each passing one. When was this? Last Friday, I said quietly. But I have others. Different nights, same pattern, same address. She closed her eyes, one hand gripping the edge of the table like she needed something solid to keep her from spinning away. I knew, she whispered. I think I always knew. The late meetings, the client dinners, the weekends where he'd say he was at a conference but never answered his phone. She looked up at me suddenly. How long has it been going on? 3 months that I can prove, I said. Maybe longer. Amanda pressed her napkin to her lips. God, 3 months. I thought he was finally happy again, less stressed. I thought maybe the business was doing well. Oh, he's doing very well, I said dryly, just not in the way you think. She gave a small, bitter laugh, then went still. And your wife? She knows you know? Not yet, I said. She thinks she's still in control, that she can lie to my face, smile through dinner, and play the devoted spouse. But I'm done playing the fool. Amanda looked at me, really looked, and I could see the calculation behind her grief. The pieces were rearranging in her mind, not just the betrayal, but what it meant for her. The public humiliation, the potential fallout, the money, the house. What are you planning to do? She asked finally. I leaned back in my chair, folded my hands. That depends on you. Ethan's careful, but he's not smart. If we coordinate, we can expose both of them in one move. Quietly or publicly, your choice. Her eyes flicked toward the window, toward the dark parking lot beyond. For a long moment, she didn't answer, and I could see the war inside her, the urge to protect what was left of her life versus the instinct to burn it all down. Then she looked back at me and said, Tell me what you have in mind. And just like that, phase 1 was complete. Amanda, your husband is having an affair with my wife. Has been for months. The words hang in the air between us. She doesn't cry, doesn't get angry, doesn't even look surprised. She just nods slowly, like I've confirmed something she suspected for a long time. Her name is Lexi, she says quietly. You know about her. I know there's someone. I've known for a while. She looks up at me, and I see steel beneath the kindness in her eyes. I found receipts for restaurants I've never been to, charges for jewelry I've never received. When I asked him about it, he said they were business expenses. The waitress brings our coffee. Amanda wraps her hands around her mug like she's trying to warm herself. "Why are you telling me this?" she asks. "Because they both lied to us, because they think we're too stupid or too weak to fight back, and because I think we can help each other." "Help each other how?" I lean forward. "My wife thinks she's found her Prince Charming. She has no idea he's married, no idea she's just another conquest in a long line of them. Your husband thinks he can keep playing this game forever, that there are no consequences for his actions. And you want to prove them wrong? I want to destroy them both." Amanda takes a sip of her coffee, studying my face. "You're angry. Aren't you?" "I'm tired," she says. "Tired of pretending everything is fine, tired of making excuses for him, tired of being treated like I'm invisible." She sets down her mug. "What did you have in mind?" I pull out my phone and show her a photo I took earlier. Ethan and Lexi entering his building together, his arm around her waist. "I want to make sure everyone knows what kind of man your husband really is. His business partners, his clients, the society reporters who love to write about him. I want to make sure my wife understands exactly what she threw away her marriage for. Public humiliation, among other things." Amanda is quiet for a long moment, thinking. When she finally speaks, her voice is steady and determined. "What do you need me to do?" We spend the next hour planning. Amanda knows things about Ethan that I could never discover on my own. His habits, his weaknesses, his schedule. More importantly, she has access to his house, his mail, his personal documents. "He's supposed to be out of town this weekend," she says. "A business trip to Chicago. But I'm guessing he'll really be at his downtown apartment with your wife. Can you prove he's not in Chicago?" "I can do better than that. I can prove where he really is." She explains that Ethan's Tesla has a GPS tracking system that logs everywhere he goes. As his wife, she has access to the account. "I've never checked it before," she admits. "I didn't want to know, but now you do. Now I do." We exchange phone numbers and agree to stay in touch. As we're leaving the coffee shop, Amanda touches my arm. "Derek, thank you for telling me the truth. I know it wasn't easy. Thank you for believing me." "Oh, I believed you the moment you said her name was Lexi. He talks in his sleep sometimes." I drive home feeling better than I have in days. Having an ally changes everything, especially one with inside access to the enemy camp. But as I pull into my parking space, I see a familiar figure waiting by the elevator. Simone Walsh, Lexi's best friend and co-conspirator. She's pacing back and forth, checking her phone every few seconds. When she sees me, she hurries over. "Derek, thank God. I've been trying to reach you all day. I've been busy. We need to talk. About Lexi, about this whole situation." I study her face. Simone is in her late 30s, attractive in a calculated way, with the kind of aggressive confidence that comes from working in public relations. She's also nervous, which means my text last night had the desired effect. "What about it?" "Look, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But Lexi is my best friend, and I think there are things you don't understand." "Such as?" "Such as the fact that she's been miserable for months. She didn't plan for this to happen. It just did." I almost laugh. "So it's my fault?" "That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe if you two had been communicating better, if you'd been paying more attention to what she needed." "Stop right there." My voice is quiet, but something in my tone makes her take a step back. "Let me guess. You've been covering for her, making excuses, providing alibis, helping her lie to me." "Derek, how long have you known?" She looks around the parking garage like she's hoping someone will rescue her. "It's complicated. It's really not. Either you knew she was cheating on me or you didn't. I knew she was unhappy. That's not what I asked." Simone takes a deep breath. "I knew about Ethan, but I thought it was just a phase, something she needed to get out of her system. I thought she'd come to her senses. And in the meantime, you helped her lie to me. I was trying to protect both of you. By helping her cheat, by giving her time to figure out what she really wanted." I shake my head. "You know what, Simone? I actually appreciate your honesty. It confirms what I already suspected, that you're just as selfish and manipulative as she is." Her face flushes red. "You don't know anything about me. I know you helped destroy my marriage. I know you looked me in the eye at parties and smiled while you were covering for my wife's affair. I know you're here now because you're worried about what I might do to damage your precious reputation. That's not... Here's what's going to happen, I continue. You're going to stay away from me. You're not going to call, text, or show up at my apartment again. And when this all comes crashing down around Lexi and her boyfriend, you're going to remember that you had a chance to do the right thing and chose not to. I start walking toward the elevator. Simone follows me. Derek, please. Let's be reasonable about this. I turn around. Reasonable? You want me to be reasonable about the fact that my wife has been lying to me for months while you helped her do it? I was trying to be a good friend. No, you were trying to avoid getting involved. There's a difference. The elevator arrives and I step inside. Simone tries to follow, but I hold up a hand. Remember what I said. Stay away from me. The doors close on her shocked face. Upstairs in my apartment, I pour myself a bourbon and check my phone. 3 missed calls from Lexi, 2 from unknown numbers that are probably Ethan trying to reach me from different phones. I delete them all without listening to the voicemails. Then I call Amanda. How did it go with the GPS? I ask. You're not going to believe this, she says. He's not at his downtown apartment. He's at the Ritz-Carlton, penthouse suite. With Lexi? I assume so. He checked in yesterday afternoon and hasn't left the hotel since. I smile. Ethan is pulling out all the stops, trying to impress my wife with luxury she's never experienced. He probably thinks he's showing her what life could be like if she leaves her boring husband. Amanda, how would you feel about crashing their romantic getaway? What did you have in mind? Room service. I think they might be hungry. The next morning, I wake up with a plan that's either brilliant or completely insane. Possibly both. I call in sick to work, the first time I've used a sick day in 3 years, and drive to a uniform supply store across town. An hour later, I'm dressed as a room service waiter, complete with a name tag that says Miguel and a cart loaded with champagne, strawberries, and chocolate-covered anything. The hotel uniform fits reasonably well, and the fake mustache I bought at a costume shop completes the disguise. Amanda meets me in the Ritz-Carlton parking garage at 11 a.m., as planned. She's nervous but determined, wearing a simple black dress and sunglasses. Are you sure about this? She asks. Too late to back out now. You have the key card? She holds up a plastic card. Ethan always keeps a spare in his wallet. I made a copy years ago, back when I still trusted him. We take the service elevator to the penthouse floor. The hallway is empty, decorated with expensive artwork and fresh flowers. Our footsteps are muffled by thick carpet that probably costs more per square foot than most people make in a day. Suite 4012 is at the end of the hall. Amanda slides the key card through the reader, and the light turns green. Last chance to change your mind, I whisper. Open the door. I push the cart into the suite's living room. It's massive, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city and furniture that belongs in a museum. Classical music is playing softly from hidden speakers, and there are rose petals scattered on the marble coffee table. Room service, I call out, in what I hope sounds like a convincing accent. We didn't order room service, Ethan's voice comes from the bedroom. Complimentary champagne service, sir, from the management. There's a pause, then footsteps. Ethan appears in the doorway wearing a hotel bathrobe, his hair messed up from sleep. He looks confused but not alarmed. I don't think we need... He stops mid-sentence when he sees Amanda step out from behind me. Amanda, what the hell are you doing here? Hello, darling. Surprise? His face goes through several expressions in rapid succession. Confusion, recognition, and finally panic. How did you find me? GPS tracking on your car. Did you forget I have access to the account? Amanda, I can explain. Can you? Because I'd love to hear you explain why you're in a penthouse suite with another woman when you're supposed to be in Chicago on business. Ethan looks back toward the bedroom, probably hoping Lexi will stay hidden until he can figure out how to handle this. But my wife has never been good at staying quiet during a confrontation. Ethan? Her voice carries from the bedroom. What's going on out there? Stay in the bedroom, he calls back. Is someone here? Amanda walks past Ethan toward the bedroom door. Why don't you come out and meet your boyfriend's wife? There's a moment of silence. Then Lexi appears in the doorway wearing one of the hotel's plush bathrobes. Her face goes white when she sees Amanda, then even whiter when she sees me. Derek, what are you doing here? I pull off the fake mustache and smile. Room service. Though I have to say, the service in this place is terrible. Your boyfriend forgot to mention he's married. Lexi stares at Amanda, then at Ethan, then back at me. Married? 6 years, Amanda says pleasantly. I'm Amanda Brand, and you must be the woman who's been sleeping with my husband. Ethan, you said you were single. Lexi's voice is barely above a whisper. I can explain, Ethan says, but he's looking at Amanda, not Lexi. This isn't what it looks like. Really? Amanda pulls out her phone and starts taking pictures. Because it looks like you're in a hotel suite with your girlfriend while your wife thinks you're on a business trip. Stop taking pictures, Ethan snaps. Why? Are you embarrassed? You weren't embarrassed when you were posting photos of yourself at charity galas with other women. Lexi sinks onto the couch, looking stunned. You're married. You're actually married. Lexi, let me explain. Explain what? She looks at him with disgust. Explain how you lied to me. Explain how you made me destroy my marriage for someone who was never available in the first place. You destroyed your own marriage, I point out. I just helped you figure out what kind of man you destroyed it for. She turns to me, and I see something I've never seen in her eyes before. Genuine shame. Derek, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't want to know. You were so excited about your exciting new boyfriend that you never bothered to ask the right questions. Ethan is getting angry now, probably realizing that his carefully constructed world is falling apart. This is harassment. I'm calling security. Go ahead, Amanda says. I'd love to explain to hotel security why my husband is registered under a false name with another woman. False name? I look at the room service receipt on my cart. Oh, that's interesting. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Very creative, Ethan. You need to leave, Ethan says. Both of you. Actually, I think we need to stay and talk about this, Amanda says. After all, we're all adults here. Isn't that what you told Derek yesterday? Lexi looks at me sharply. You talked to Derek? He texted me, I say. Wanted to work out some kind of deal. Apparently, he thought this was a business transaction. What kind of deal? The kind where he pays me to go away quietly and let him keep playing with other men's wives. Ethan's face is red now. That's not what I said. No? Then what did you mean when you asked me to name my price? Lexi stares at him. You tried to pay him off? I was trying to resolve this like adults. By treating me like a commodity you could buy? Amanda laughs, but there's no humor in it. Welcome to my world, Lexi. This is what Ethan does. He takes what he wants and then tries to buy his way out of the consequences. That's not true, Ethan protests. Really? What about the Hendersons' marriage? Or the Washingtons? Or the Kellys? Ethan goes very still. What are you talking about? I know about the others, Ethan. All of them. Did you really think I was that naive? The room falls silent, except for the classical music still playing from the hidden speakers. Lexi looks confused, but I understand immediately. Ethan has done this before, multiple times, and Amanda has known about it. How many others? Lexi asks quietly. Amanda counts on her fingers. That I know of? 7, but there are probably more. Lexi's face crumples. 7. You're not special, sweetheart, Amanda says, and her voice is almost gentle. You're just the latest in a long line of married women who thought they'd found something real with my husband. This is insane, Ethan says. Amanda, you're making it sound like you're a serial cheater who gets off on destroying other people's marriages? Because that's exactly what you are. I have to admit, I'm impressed. Amanda has been planning this confrontation just as carefully as I have, maybe more so. She's not the naive, innocent wife I thought she was. She's a woman who's been gathering evidence and waiting for the right moment to use it. Why? Lexi asks, looking at Amanda. If you knew, why didn't you leave him? Because I was waiting for the right opportunity, and Derek gave it to me. Lexi turns to me. You planned this, both of you. We did. Why? To humiliate me. To show you the truth, about him, about yourself, about what you really gave up when you decided I wasn't exciting enough for you. She starts crying then. Not the calculated tears she used the other night, but genuine sobs of shame and regret. Part of me wants to comfort her, to tell her it's going to be okay. But that part is smaller than it used to be. I think we're done here, I say, straightening my fake uniform. Ethan, enjoy explaining this to your business partners when the photos hit social media. Lexi, enjoy explaining it to your boss when she finds out her star publicist can't even manage her own public image. Derek, wait, Lexi calls as I head for the door. I turn back. What? Can we talk? Privately? No. Please. I know I don't deserve it, but you're right. You don't deserve it, and my line is still closed to you. I push the room service cart out of the suite, leaving behind the sound of Lexi's sobs, Ethan's angry protests, and Amanda's calm, steady voice explaining exactly what's going to happen next. In the elevator, I pull out my phone and send a text to Cal. Phase 1 complete. ready for phase 2. His response comes back immediately. Outstanding. The real fun starts now. The photos Amanda took at the Ritz hit social media exactly 12 hours later. Not on her accounts, of course. That would be too obvious. Instead, they appear on a gossip blog called City Secrets that specializes in exposing the private lives of local celebrities and business figures. The headline reads, "Venture Capitalists' Double Life Exposed," and the article is devastating. Photos of Ethan and Lexi entering the hotel, screenshots of the hotel registration under false names, and a detailed timeline of Ethan's previous affairs. Amanda did her homework. By Monday morning, the story has been picked up by 3 local news outlets and shared thousands of times on social media. I'm sitting in Murphy's Tavern reading the coverage on my phone while Cal makes breakfast. "Your friend Amanda doesn't mess around," he says, sliding a plate of eggs across the bar. "She's been planning this for years. I just gave her the excuse she needed." My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk. This has gone too far. E." I show the message to Cal. He grins. He's panicking. "Good," I type back. "Nothing to discuss." The response comes immediately. "I can make this worth your while." "Still trying to buy his way out?" Cal observes. "Some people never learn." I'm about to put my phone away when it rings. The caller ID shows my office number. "Derek, it's Janet. You need to get in here right away." "What's wrong?" "Your wife is here. She's in Mr. Patterson's office, and she looks upset." I close my eyes. Patterson is the company president, a decent man who's always treated me fairly. If Lexi is talking to him, she's either trying to get me fired or asking him to intervene in our marriage. Either way, it's not good. "I'll be right there." The drive to my office takes 20 minutes, and I spend every one of them trying to figure out what Lexi might be telling Patterson. When I arrive, Janet points toward the president's office with a worried expression. "She's been in there for an hour," she whispers. I knock on Patterson's door and enter without waiting for permission. Lexi is sitting across from his desk, looking small and defeated in a way I've never seen before. Her eyes are red from crying, and she's clutching a tissue in her hands. "Derek," Patterson says, standing up. "Come in, sit down." "What's going on?" "Your wife came to see me this morning. She's concerned about your mental state." I look at Lexi. "My mental state?" "She says you've been harassing her and her friend, following them, making threats." "What kind of threats?" Patterson looks uncomfortable. "She says you threatened to destroy her career and her reputation. She's worried about what you might do next." I sit down in the chair next to Lexi's. "And what did you tell her?" "I told her that the Derek Malone I know isn't the type of person who makes threats or harasses people, but she seems genuinely frightened." "I'm not frightened," Lexi says quietly. "I'm worried about you. This isn't like you, Derek. The man you married would never have had to deal with his wife cheating on him with a married man." Patterson clears his throat. "Derek, I don't want to get involved in your personal life, but then don't. But I can't have this affecting your work or the company's reputation. If there's something going on that I should know about..." I pull out my phone and show him the City Secrets article. "This is what's going on. My wife had an affair with a married man, and now she's trying to make me look like the bad guy because I exposed the truth." Patterson reads the article, his expression growing more serious with each paragraph. When he finishes, he looks at Lexi. "Is this accurate?" She doesn't answer, just stares at her hands. "Mrs. Malone, I asked you a question." "It's more complicated than the article makes it seem," she says finally. "I'm sure it is, but the basic facts are correct. You had an affair with this man, Ethan Brand?" "Yes." Patterson leans back in his chair. "And now you're here asking me to intervene because your husband exposed your affair?" "I'm here because I'm worried about Derek's behavior. He's not acting rationally." "What would be rational, Lexi?" I ask. "Pretending it never happened? Quietly accepting that you threw away our marriage for a man who was using you?" "I made a mistake." "You made a choice. Multiple choices, over several months. And now you're dealing with the consequences." Patterson stands up. "Mrs. Malone, I appreciate your concern for your husband, but based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think Derek has done anything inappropriate. If you're having marital problems, I suggest you work them out with a counselor, not in my office." Lexi's face flushes. "You don't understand." "I understand that you've put both Derek and this company in an awkward position by bringing your personal problems to his workplace. I think you should leave." She looks at me one more time, maybe hoping I'll defend her or ask her to stay. But I'm done defending her, done making excuses for her behavior. "This isn't over," she says as she stands up. "Yes, it is." After she leaves, Patterson closes the door and sits back down. "You okay, Derek?" "I'm fine." This must be difficult. It is, but I'm handling it. He studies my face. The article mentioned that Brand is married. Did you know that when you exposed the affair? I found out recently. And you contacted his wife? I nod. That was probably the right thing to do. She deserved to know the truth. That's what I thought. Patterson is quiet for a moment, then nods. Take a few days off, Derek. Get your personal life sorted out. Your job will be here when you're ready to come back. I don't need... It's not a request. You've got vacation time saved up. Use it. I can see there's no point in arguing. Thanks, Mr. Patterson. I appreciate your understanding. Derek, for what it's worth, I think you've handled this with more class than most men would have. Outside Patterson's office, Janet hands me a stack of phone messages. These came in while you were meeting, she says. Most of them are reporters. I flip through the messages. 3 local news stations, 2 newspapers, and something called Metro Magazine. What do they want? Interviews. About the article, about your wife's affair. Apparently the story is getting a lot of attention. I hand the messages back to her. If anyone else calls, tell them I have no comment. Will do. And Derek? I'm sorry about what you're going through. Thanks, Janet. In the parking garage, my phone is buzzing with notifications. Text messages, missed calls, social media alerts. The story is spreading faster than I expected, and apparently I'm part of it now. One message catches my attention. It's from Amanda. Check your email. You're going to want to see this. I open my email app and find a message from her with the subject line, Ethan's Response. The body of the email contains a link to a video posted on Ethan's company website. In the video, Ethan is sitting behind his desk in what looks like a hastily arranged press conference. He's wearing an expensive suit and trying to look confident, but I can see the stress in his eyes. I want to address the recent allegations about my personal life, he says. While I acknowledge that I've made some personal mistakes, the characterization of my actions in recent media reports is unfair and one-sided. He goes on to claim that he and Amanda have been separated for months, that his relationship with Lexi was serious and committed, and that I'm a disgruntled husband who's trying to destroy his reputation out of spite. Mr. Malone has engaged in a campaign of harassment and intimidation, he says. He's violated my privacy, stalked me and my girlfriend, and enlisted others in his vendetta against me. I'm considering legal action to protect myself and Ms. Malone from further harassment. The video ends with Ethan looking directly into the camera. I made mistakes in my marriage, but I don't deserve to have my life destroyed by a vindictive ex-husband who can't accept that his wife chose someone else. I watch the video twice, then call Amanda. Did you see it? She asks. Just finished watching. He's good. I'll give him that. He's also lying about almost everything. We haven't been separated. I have bank records proving we're still living together, and he's never mentioned being serious about your wife. Can you prove that? I can prove all of it. The question is, do you want me to? I think about it. Ethan is trying to control the narrative, to make himself look like the victim and me look like the aggressor. A few days ago that might have worked, but now, with everything I know about him, it just makes me angry. Yes, I say. Prove it, all of it. Consider it done. That evening, I'm sitting in my apartment with a bourbon and the local news when my phone rings. It's Cal. Turn to Channel 7, he says. I switch channels and see a breaking news report. The anchor is a serious-looking woman in her 40s. We have an update on the story we reported earlier about venture capitalist Ethan Brand and allegations of multiple extramarital affairs. We're now joined by Amanda Brand, Mr. Brand's wife, who says she has new information about her husband's claims. The camera switches to Amanda, who's sitting in what looks like a professional studio. She's wearing a navy blue dress and looks calm and composed. Mrs. Brand, your husband released a video statement today claiming that you two have been separated for months. Is that accurate? No, it's not. We've been living together in our home in Westfield throughout his affair with Lexi Malone. I have bank records, utility bills, and credit card statements that prove we've been sharing expenses and living as husband and wife. He also claimed that his relationship with Ms. Malone was serious and committed. What's your response to that? Amanda's expression doesn't change. My husband has had at least 7 extramarital affairs that I'm aware of, all with married women. His pattern is always the same. He pursues them aggressively, makes them feel special and chosen, then discards them when their husbands find out or when he gets bored. You have evidence of these other affairs? I have photographs, receipts, hotel records, and in some cases, recorded phone conversations. My husband is a serial adulterer who gets satisfaction from destroying other people's marriages. The anchor looks stunned. Why are you coming forward with this now? Because I'm tired of being complicit in his behavior. I'm tired of watching him hurt innocent people while I stay silent. And I'm tired of him trying to make Derek Malone look like the villain in this situation when Derek is just a man whose wife was seduced by a predator. The interview continues for another 10 minutes, with Amanda methodically destroying every claim Ethan made in his video. By the time it's over, there's no question who's telling the truth. I call Amanda as soon as the interview ends. "That was incredible," I say. "That was just the beginning. Tomorrow morning, I'm filing for divorce and releasing all the evidence I've been collecting for the past 3 years. Ethan wanted to play this game in public? Fine. Let's see how he likes it when the whole truth comes out." After I hang up, I pour myself another bourbon and think about how much has changed in just a few days. A week ago, I was the boring husband whose wife was cheating on him. Now I'm part of a story that's dominating local news and social media, but I'm not done yet. Ethan and Lexi think they can spin this, make themselves look like victims of my vindictive campaign. They're about to learn that they've underestimated both me and Amanda. My phone buzzes with a text from Lexi. "Please call me. We need to talk." I delete the message without responding. My line is still closed to her, and it's going to stay that way. The story explodes overnight. By Tuesday morning, Amanda's interview has been viewed over 2 million times on social media, and every major news outlet in the city is covering what they're calling the Brand Affair scandal. My phone hasn't stopped ringing since 6 a.m. I'm back at Murphy's Tavern, trying to eat breakfast while ignoring the constant buzzing of my phone. Cal is enjoying the chaos more than he probably should be. "You've got reporters calling here now," he says, refilling my coffee. 3 different news stations want to interview you?" "What did you tell them?" "That you're unavailable for comment and they should try the Ritz-Carlton if they want to find the real story." I almost smile. "Any word from our friends?" "Ethan's been calling you from different numbers all morning. Your wife showed up at your apartment building around midnight, but the doorman wouldn't let her up." "Good." Cal sets down a newspaper. The headline reads, "Local businessman's web of lies exposed." Below it is a photo of Ethan looking haggard as he enters his office building, surrounded by reporters. His company's stock dropped 15% yesterday, Cal says. Word is, his investors are calling emergency meetings. What about Lexi? Her boss put her on administrative leave pending an investigation into how this might affect the company's reputation. I flipped through the newspaper article. It's thorough and damaging, laying out the timeline of Ethan's affairs and Amanda's evidence in devastating detail. There are quotes from 3 of his previous victims, women who were willing to go on record about how he destroyed their marriages. He's finished, I say. Looks like it. Question is, what happens now? Before I can answer, my phone rings. It's Amanda. Derek, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Ethan's lawyer called. He's threatening to sue both of us for defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Can he do that? He can try, but I don't think he will. Why not? Because I have something he really doesn't want to become public. She explains that among Ethan's papers, she found evidence of financial fraud, falsified investment reports, misappropriated client funds, and tax evasion. If he sues her, she'll be forced to turn over all her evidence to lawyers, including the financial crimes. He's trapped, she says. If he sues us, he goes to prison. If he doesn't sue us, his reputation is destroyed anyway. So, what's his play? I think he's going to run. Disappear before the criminal investigation starts. What about Lexi? What about her? Is he going to take her with him? Amanda is quiet for a moment. Do you care? The question catches me off guard. A week ago, the answer would have been yes. Despite everything, part of me would have wanted to save Lexi from whatever consequences were coming. But now, thinking about her sitting in Ethan's office, trying to get me fired, playing the victim while destroying our marriage. No, I say. I don't care what happens to her. Good. Because I don't think he's going to take her anywhere. Men like Ethan don't rescue their girlfriends. They abandon them when things get complicated. After I hang up, I sit in Murphy's for another hour, reading news coverage and ignoring phone calls. The story has taken on a life of its own now, bigger than just my marriage or Ethan's affairs. It's become a symbol of wealthy men who think they can take whatever they want without consequences. Around noon, Cal gets a call from one of his contacts at the police department. Ethan Brand didn't show up for work today, he tells me after hanging up. His office says he's taking a leave of absence, but his assistant told reporters he cleaned out his desk yesterday afternoon. He's running. Looks like it. Amanda was right. I finish my coffee and stand up. I need to go home and pack. Going somewhere? Taking a vacation. Patterson gave me the week off, and I think I'll drive down to the coast, Get away from all this craziness. Sounds like a good idea. Let things settle down while you're gone. But as I'm leaving Murphy's, my phone rings one more time. It's Lexi, calling from yet another number I don't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answer. Derek, please don't hang up. What do you want, Lexi? I want to apologize. Really apologize, not just say the words. I want to explain. There's nothing to explain. Yes, there is. You don't understand what happened, how I got caught up in all this. I understand perfectly. You met a man who made you feel special, and you decided that was more important than our marriage. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. She's crying now, and despite everything, the sound still affects me. Derek, he lied to me. About everything. About being single, about caring for me, about wanting a future together. I threw away our marriage for someone who was just using me. I know. You know? I know he lied to you. I know he's married. I know you're just another conquest to him. I've known all of that for days. Then why didn't you tell me? Because you wouldn't have believed me. You had to figure it out for yourself. She's quiet for a long moment. He's gone, Derek. He left town this morning without even saying goodbye. His phone goes straight to voicemail, and his office says he's taking an indefinite leave of absence. I'm not surprised. I lost my job. My boss says I'm a liability to the company's reputation. I lost you, I lost him, and now I have nothing. You made your choices, Lexi. I know. I know I did this to myself. But Derek, we were married for 15 years. That has to count for something. I stop walking and lean against a lamppost. It did count for something. It counted right up until you decided it didn't. Can we try again? Can we go to counseling, work through this? No. Derek, please. No, Lexi. It's over. You destroyed our marriage for a man who didn't even care enough about you to say goodbye before he ran away. You humiliated me, lied to me, and tried to get me fired when I fought back. There's no coming back from that. So that's it? 15 years, and you're just going to throw it all away? I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that? I hang up and turn off my phone. The drive to my apartment takes 15 minutes, and the whole way there my mind keeps replaying the conversation. Every word, every pause, every trace of emotion I thought I'd buried long ago. The city slides by outside my windshield in streaks of neon and rain, headlights reflecting off puddles that shimmer like liquid glass. The streets are mostly empty, quiet in that in-between hour when the world feels like it's holding its breath. Part of me, a small, stubborn part that refuses to die, feels sorry for Lexi. She's lost everything, her job, her reputation, the future she'd built in her head with Ethan. And while she absolutely earned the fallout, that doesn't make watching it any easier. I think of the way she used to laugh before all of this, the way she'd tuck her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, the way she once looked at me like I was enough. Maybe those were lies too, or maybe they were just moments that couldn't survive the years. Either way, they're ghosts now, but mostly, I feel something I haven't felt in a very long time, relief. A deep, unshakable relief that fills the hollow places inside me. For months, I've carried the weight of pretending our marriage wasn't crumbling, pretending her distance was just stress, pretending that the late nights and business trips weren't what they obviously were. I spent years being the steady one, the reliable one, the husband who held everything together while she drifted away. Now, for the first time, I can breathe without that pressure crushing my chest. When I finally pull into the parking lot outside my apartment, the air feels different, colder, cleaner, like the night itself is giving me permission to start over. Inside, the space still smells faintly of paint and coffee. It's small, but it's mine. I set my keys on the counter, kick off my shoes, and start packing. The plan is simple, a week at the coast. No phone calls, no messages, no drama. Just the sound of the ocean and a chance to figure out who I am without her. As I fold my clothes, something slips out of one of my shirts. A photograph, worn and slightly creased. It's from our honeymoon. Lexi's head is on my shoulder, both of us smiling in that unguarded, foolish way only newlyweds can. I remember the heat of the sun that day, the smell of salt and sunscreen, the way she'd told me she couldn't believe how lucky she was. I'd believed her. For a moment, I almost set the picture aside, thinking maybe I'd keep it as a reminder of what we used to be. But then I realize it doesn't represent love anymore. It represents blindness. I tear it cleanly in half and drop the pieces into the trash. Some things don't deserve to be carried into the future. I check the time on my phone, and as the screen lights up, a notification appears. A text message from Amanda. Ethan's house is empty. He's gone for good. Thank you for helping me find the courage to do what I should have done years ago. A slow smile forms on my lips as I type back, "Thank you for helping me do what I should have done months ago." Her reply comes almost instantly. "What's that?" I pause for a moment, looking at the message, then type, "Stop being the boring husband who lets people walk all over him." A few seconds later, "You were never boring, Derek. You were just married to the wrong woman." I stare at that for a while, the words sinking in. Then I set the phone down, feeling something close to peace. Tomorrow, I'll drive to the coast. I'll walk along the shoreline, read the books I never had time for, maybe even start sketching again like I used to in college. The world will keep spinning without me in the middle of its chaos. Reporters will chase Ethan's downfall, Amanda will begin her new life, and Lexi will face the ruins she built with her own hands. But I'm done being part of their story. That chapter's over. I grab my bag, lock the apartment door, and stand in the hallway for a moment, breathing in the quiet. My mind drifts back to the text that started this entire chain of events. "Busy now? I'll call after." My response had been simple, final. My line is close to you, and it still is.